Okay, we're going to talk about how do the slide outs get power and how do they work. Slide outs are 12 volt DC motors. You have a 12 volt power system up here. So you've got your battery, feeds into your Gigi box here, or your Brock box if it's a fifth wheel. On those boxes, you have the battery disconnect switch right here. Feeds in through that battery disconnect switch, feeds a positive bus inside the Gigi box. And off of that, you have little auto resetting breakers, 12 volt automotive auto resetting breakers, little silver boxes. And that's what feeds your various loads. So off of here comes your fuse panel in your trailer. You can have your tank heaters, your auto leveling system, your slide out power comes off of there. Your truck feeds into here. The tongue jack, if you have a travel trailer, a tongue jack will feed out of here. So if you're plugged into shore power, your converter's energized. It's supplying 12 volt power. It supplies power to your fuse panel. Also supplies power into here to supply these loads and to charge back through here through the battery. Your 12 volt charge line from your truck feeds in here. So these are all sources of power, 12 volt power to your 12 volt DC power system. So the slides get power from one of those resetting breakers, like I said. Purple wire comes over here to your in-command BCM, the body control module. So in your pass-through storage area, your basement storage on a fifth wheel, you'll see the big black cover there you can remove, and you'll see the circuit board underneath there. There's a bunch of relays. This is just part of it over here. On this side of the BCM, there are more relays for lighting, but we're not looking at those tonight. So on the right-hand side of the BCM, you'll see 5 sets of relays. You have 5 motors that it can operate, M1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So each motor has 2 relays associated with it. You have an in and an out, so a retract and extend for each motor. So these can be slide outs, these can be awning motors. Slide outs or awning motors is what these are going to supply. The way they operate these, it's a DC motor, so to make it go one direction, they supply power in one direction. To reverse it and make it go in the opposite direction, they just reverse polarity on the voltage. And that makes the motor rotate in one direction or the other to extend or retract the slide out or the awning. So that's all they do. So each motor has 2 relays, an in and an out, a retract and extend, and you need both relays installed for the motor to operate. These relays just are plug-in standard relays. You can get them anywhere. So if you're having an issue with a motor and it only works, say, one direction or the other, you might want to try pulling this relay. Just unplugs. You can unplug it, plug it back in to make sure it's got good contact. You can also swap any one of these relays. They're all interchangeable, so it's a good tool for troubleshooting. You can take this relay and put it up here if you're having problems with M1 and see if it's a relay problem. If your slide out goes in but won't go out, then you've probably got a problem with these relays here. The wiring from here out to the motor and back, if it's working in one direction, you know the circuit from the BCM all the way out to the motor is working fine, because no matter which direction the motor is moving, it has to use this circuit path, so your problem's up in here. So your in-command display sends a digital signal over a CAN bus to this body control module, which has a processor on it. And once that signal comes in, then it says, okay, I want to operate whatever relay it needs to operate the device that you're telling it to operate. So if you say I want the slide out to go out, it sends a signal, it energizes this relay, provides power in one direction through that motor, and it comes back through the other relay to ground, and that's your path of power to make the motor turn in the right direction. When you let go of the display and stop it, then it de-energizes the relay, stops power flow. To retract it, it's the same thing. It sends a signal to the right relay, energizes it, sends power in the right direction to retract it. On the BCM, you have this rotary switch and a toggle switch above it. This is how you can operate the slide outs or the awning. from the BCM if your display is not functioning for some reason or it's not communicating properly. You can go to your BCM, turn this rotary switch from off into the M1, 2, 3, 4, 5 position, and then you use this toggle switch to go in or out. So select M1, hit your toggle switch to go out. It energizes this relay, makes the motor turn, makes your slide out go out. Hit the toggle switch to go in, energizes this relay, reverses polarity, makes the motor rotate backwards, bring the slide out in. So that's a way to manually operate them if your display's not working or something. So, like I said, you got 5 sets of relays. You may only have 3 sets populated depending on how many motors you've got to operate, how many slide outs and awnings you have. But each motor has 2 relays, an in and an out for each motor. So that's how you get power through here, through your BCM, through these relays to your motor and back. The power doesn't come from the fuse panel in the trailer, so you can't look at the fuses there. And it's 12-volt DC, so it's not associated with the circuit breakers inside the trailer at all. It's all coming out through this Gigi box, through this auto resetting breaker to your BCM. That's how the power flows. So a little more detail about these relays. You've got your in and your out relay. Here's your motor. Normally when the relays are de-energized, they're both connected to ground here. Nothing's happening. When you say to your in-command display, I want the slide out to go out, it sends a signal out here. It energizes the coil on this relay, and it makes it basically it's a magnet. Energizes it, makes it a magnet. It flops this contact, pulls it up, and closes this path. So your power flows in through here, out through your motor, plus to minus, back through the other relay to ground, and that's your path of current to operate the motor in the right direction. When you want it to go the other direction, when you want to bring it in, it energizes this coil, energizes this relay. This contact flops, it's pulled in here, opens here, closes here. Your power flows this way, plus to minus, back through this relay to ground, and it reverses the direction of rotation on the motor to bring the slide out in. So that's how the slide outs get power and basically how they work. Like I said, a good troubleshooting. If you're having a problem with it, one of the motors moving in one direction but not the other, try swapping with another relay and see if that moves the problem or corrects it. And that is pretty much it. Your water pump has one relay down here on the bottom. You have if plus 12 volts coming in for your water pump. That comes from your fuse panel up here. And then you have a relay which is basically energizes, closes the contacts to supply that power through the relay out through a pressure switch on your pump, through your motor, and back to your BCM to negative. And then your pump will cycle on the pressure switch. These relays take about 150 milliamps just to sit there energized, so good power saving measures for like water pumps and lights. Same thing, when you have a water pump turned on your in command, this relay energizes and stays energized, drawing about 150 milliamps of power all the time, even though the pump's not running until the pressure switch tells it to. So just sitting there with that relay energized all the time, if you're not using the water pump, is drawing power. So turn the water pump off and turn it on when you need it. That'll save you some power. Same thing with the lights that are in command controlled. All right, I think that's it. Any questions, drop a comment here and we'll answer them.